Good morning, everybody. It's your girl, Brittny Charity, and welcome back to another episode of Saturday Morning Storytime. Today's Storytime celebrates Black History Month. Today I explore Black pain, Black rage, Black love, the Black vote, Black thought, and why listening to Black voices is so important. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found, was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Well, I once was lost, but now I'm found, was blind, but now I see. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first began. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Well, I once was lost, but now I'm found, was blind, but now I see. Was blind, but now I see. Amazing Grace. I chose to sing that song today because a couple of my students had it in their notebook, and I happened to have it in my notebook too, but we had different chords for it. And they actually had the super simplified version, and mine was just a little bit more complicated. And so I decided to go with their version, and we haven't stopped playing it. So Amazing Grace for everybody. It always feels comforting to sing that gospel. I hope you have some amazing grace in your life. All right. Before we get into today's read, it is time for Saturday Morning Storytime sponsors. This episode of Saturday Morning Storytime is sponsored by Joey Times Productions, where we are today. I'm always shifting and moving around the house. Today you find us in the back porch, and you could see our lot back there where we do a lot of work and keep our wood and stuff like that. Joey Times Productions, everybody. Give us a holler. And thank you, Tim. Saturday Morning Storytime is also sponsored by Still Waters Qigong. Still Waters Qigong is led by my friend Ray Robertson in South Boston, Virginia, where he teaches in person and online, privately and in groups. He is a Tai Chi and Qigong teacher, He's been on an epic journey in mindfulness, meditation, spirituality, and he has a beautiful story to tell about this practice, where it's led him, how he was brought to it. You should read his blog at Still Waters Qigong and hear some of the words that this enlightened being has to share with you. And thank you, Ray, for being a Saturday morning Storytime sponsor. All right, everybody, and now for the book that we're diving into today. I have chosen Selected Poems by Langston Hughes. Langston Hughes was born in Joplin, Missouri in 1902. After graduation from high school, he spent a year in Mexico with his father, then a year studying at Columbia University. His first poem in a nationally known magazine was The Negro Speaks of Rivers, which appeared in Crisis in 1921. In 1925, he was awarded the first prize for poetry of the magazine Opportunity, the winning poem being The Weary Blues, which gave its title to his first book of poems published in 1926. From 1926 until his death in 1967, Langston Hughes devoted his time to writing and lecturing. He wrote poetry, short stories, autobiography, song lyrics, essays, humor, and plays. A cross-section of his work was published in 1958 as the Langston Hughes Reader. Let's dive right in. Hope. Sometimes when I'm lonely, don't know why, I keep thinking I won't be lonely by and by. Democracy. Democracy will not come today, this year, nor ever, through compromise and fear. I have as much right as the other fellow has to stand on my own 2 feet and own the land. I tire so of hearing people say, let things take their course. Tomorrow is another day. I do not need my freedom when I'm dead. I cannot live on tomorrow's bread. Freedom is a strong seed, planted in a great need. I live here too. I want freedom, just as you. Evil. Looks like what drives me crazy don't have no effect on you, but I'm gonna keep on at it till it drives you crazy too. I too sing, America. I am the darker brother. They send me to eat in the kitchen when company comes, but I laugh and eat well and grow strong. Tomorrow, I'll be at the table when company comes. Nobody will dare say to me, eat in the kitchen then. Besides, they'll see how beautiful I am and be ashamed. I, too, am America. A little lyric of great importance. I wish the rent was heaven sent. Madame and the Rent Man. The rent man knocked. He said, howdy do. I said, what can I do for you? He said, you know your rent is due. I said, listen, before I'd pay, I'd go to Hades and rot away. The sink is broke, the water don't run, and you ain't done a thing you promised to have done. Back window's cracked, kitchen floor squeaks. There's rats in the cellar and the attic leaks. He said, Madame, it's not up to me. I'm just the agent, don't you see? I said, naturally, you pass the buck. If it's money you want, you're out of luck. He said, Madame, I ain't pleased. I said, neither am I, so we agrees. Madam's past history. My name is Johnson, Madam Alberta K. The Madam stands for business. I'm smart that way. I had a hairdressing parlor before the Depression put the prices lower. Then I had a barbecue stand till I got mixed up with a no-good man. 'Cause I had an insurance, the WPA, said we can't use you wealthy that way. I said, don't worry about me, just like the song. You WPA folks take care of yourself, and I'll get along. I do cooking, day's work too. Alberta K. Johnson, Madame to you. Waterfront streets. The spring is not so beautiful there, but dream ships sail away to where the spring is wondrous rare, and life is gay. The spring is not so beautiful there, but lads put out to sea, who carry beauties in their hearts and dreams like me. The end. But I have a special extra goodie for you today. Before I go, I wanted to whip out a feminine voice and a female voice who I always love to celebrate for Black History Month, Mrs. Dr. Maya Angelou. These yet-to-be United States. Tremors of your network cause kings to despair. Your open mouth in anger makes nations bow in fear. Your bombs can change the seasons, obliterate the spring. What more do you long for? Why are you suffering? You control the human lives in Rome and Timbuktu. Lonely nomads wandering owe Telstar to you. Seas shift at your bidding. Your mushrooms fill the sky. Why are you unhappy? Why do your children cry? They kneel alone in terror, with dread in every glance. Their nights are threatened daily by a grim inheritance. You dwell in whitened castles with deep and poisoned moats, and cannot hear the curses which fill your children's throats. Now, with that being said, thank you so much for joining me today for this Saturday morning story time. Let's uplift and celebrate and listen to our Black brothers and sisters, and let's school ourselves on the history and the knowledge and the wisdom that's been there before us from the civil rights movement and long before that. There's still a lot to keep fighting for and marching for. So I give a shout out to all the ancestors, all the ones long before us whose shoulders we stand on and who have led the way to give us the freedoms that we have today. May we continue to fight for those freedoms in the most loving, compassionate, and nonviolent ways. Peace. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch